Okay, so this video is going to be about conceal carrying a respirator. So why might you want to do that? Well, I get comments from people who live in countries that are sort of police states or, are very funny with stuff that goes on. So in those countries you can't actually carry a respirator often because the police will tear gas you or you'll get in trouble even if there's no law against it. Or you might want to subtly carry a respirator on you just because you want it for, personal protection. So in this video I wanted to look at some ways you could do that. I've done videos before about how to set up respirator bags just for, general use. But obviously some people want to do it without arousing suspicion. Now, obviously if you're going to do it in a concealed carry manner, you're going to want to actually cut down on the amount of stuff you're carrying. So I'd recommend just a respirator and a filter. So what I have here is a British Army Canteen bag in MTP, multi-terrain pattern. Now, you might actually want something that's obviously a lot more blander looking than this, because obviously with camo on it might raise suspicion, but I've got this and I thought this would be a good way to demonstrate. So, lid's secured, it's a bit bulkier than normal, but open this up, and you've got your GP5 sitting in there. Take the GP5 out, and at the bottom I've got a Polish FP5 filter. So in the event of an actual emergency, get the mask on, open the seals on the filter, put this on, you've got a working respirator. But let's look at maybe some other ways of doing it. Now for this video I am going to be using the GP5 for the simple fact that you can obviously fold this thing up quite small because it's a latex hood for the most part. Obviously some respirators will not fold up as small as others, some you might damage if you try and fold them up. And half face masks, if you just want it for something like tear gas, is probably a better option, because if you think about the size of a half face mask you can get them in some really tiny little pouches or whatever. Anyway, let's look at some coats or something and see if we can find ways of fitting a mask and a filter in coats and bags without them looking suspicious. Right, let's look at the standard laptop bag or small rucksack. Now these are a really good option for it because you can pretty much fold a small mask into any of the pouches inside. But some of these are particularly good because they have almost hidden compartments which are designed that if you've got it on, somebody can't pickpocket you. So for example in this one, let me find it. There is a compartment in the inside flap of one of the other compartments. So if I open this, we've now got all that space here. So we can pop the mask in there. Get that in there. Then you could put the filter in here or another compartment, depends how quickly you want to be able to access it. And then obviously zip that back up. Now, yeah, you can obviously notice that there's a bulge there with that there. But there are other compartments on these and it does depend on the rucksack. So let me just zip that back up. Okay, so our GP5's in there with a filter. It's not obvious from the outside here that's obviously in there. You could have other stuff in it. Because I don't know in some of these countries that I've been told about by people, how thoroughly the police would search a bag like this, and with a bag like this you could fit most respirators in. But with a GP5 and filter that you can get into a relatively small space, obviously, something like this, the police or whoever are going to have to really search your bag, to find it. Especially if you had lots of other stuff in there but you just left the respirator in a quick concealed pocket. Obviously there'll be other stuff as well, so let's look at some of the other options you've got. Okay, a sort of coat or jacket like this could be a good option. Obviously ones with inside pockets I'd say would be better. But in a jacket like this I can get the filter, put that in one pocket on one side hopefully. Filter, the pockets on this particular jacket I reckon are a little bit too small for the filter. Well, let's see if I can get a GP5 in it. Now, I reckon this jacket, the pocket's going to be a little bit too small, but let me try and get a bit more of an overcoat on and then I'll demonstrate it. But obviously you don't want it to be at the point it looks like you've got one of those shoplifting jackets on with filled, massively filled pockets. But the point is that you can definitely get jackets, obviously would have fairly big internal pockets like there and there, and you could put the filter and the mask maybe on each side. Whether or not I've actually got any that don't look too military-like, I'm not sure, but I'll have another look and just see if I've got a jacket where I can actually demonstrate it rather than just saying, oh yeah, you could get a jacket that would do that, but I don't have one. Okay, so here I've got a big wet weather raincoat on. This is kind of like a storm coat, one you'd wear if it's, like really, really wet, but it's got big pockets on it. So, what I want to try and do here is hopefully get the filter in. Yep, the filter's in that pocket, and the mask. into the other one. If the filter's gone in, the mask should, because it's more the width, not the depth of the pockets that's the problem. So anyway, let's scrunch the mask up nice and small. As far as I'm aware, you're not going to damage a GP5 if you leave it folded for too long, because, you know, it's kind of just a latex hood. Right, in these pockets, I have now got the mask and filter now. Let me pan the camera down, and hopefully you will see. There we go. So in there, yeah, it looks a bit bulky and suspicious, might look a bit like you're a public flasher, but you have got a mask and filter kind of concealed in the pockets. And again, as I said, if you've got a jacket that's really suited for it, I know you can get coats that have got big internal pockets, then that would be perfect in my opinion. Especially if it's kind of, you're in a cold country or it's winter, and you've got a you know, bulky winter coat. Often they'll completely hide the shape of what's inside it. And I said winter coats are good if you're wearing Kevlar under the jacket so nobody can notice. You know, big pockets on winter coats would be good. But again, with this one, you could get your mask and filter. Get your filter on, you're good to go. Right, another option you've got is, say you've got cargo trousers on, or, you know, trousers with deep pockets. You might be able to get these filters into those without it looking too suspicious. So I'm just going to try that on my trousers now. So hopefully it'll work. Now I'm wearing sort of old camo trousers, so again, if you're trying to be subtle, they're not the best thing, but, you know, it is an option. If you are wearing trousers with deep pockets, you can probably get all this gear into each of the pockets. So let's try that with these. But I think this has worked. Okay. Shove the GP5 in, because I didn't really fold it enough before I tried to put it in, it sort of sticks in the pocket. Okay, so, let's scroll down. Basically, I've got the Desert DPM trousers on, but filters in that pocket, yeah, it's bulky and obvious. GP5's in that pocket, just looks like I've got a load of stuff shoved in there. But yeah, you can get those out of the pockets that way. So yeah, again, not really ideal in my opinion, trousers like that, because if they're camo trousers, they're obvious. But again, the point goes that you can get the mask and a filter in the trousers, you know, in little spaces like that. Right, I don't really have any to show you for this video, but I came up with some other ideas. Like, where I mentioned this, you can get kind of civilian 2 litre or 1 litre water bottle sort of carriers. I'm sure you know the ones I mean, that are like just kind of a felty material, insulated material designed to keep a drink cold or warm regardless. I think with some of those, if you get one for a big enough water bottle, you could easily fit the filter and mask in there, tie it up. If you bought a really big one, you could actually put a little water bottle on top of the mask, then sticking out, so when it's tied up it looks like you've still got a water bottle in there, but you've obviously got the mask and filter underneath. That might be a good option. I mean, it looks as suspicious than having a camo military pouch one. But as said, you can get stuff like this that's just in like plain brown or green or, you know, black pouch. Another option I was thinking of is either binocular or camera carrying cases. If you get like the SLR camera cases, or DSLRs, or, you know, any of the big actual cameras, some of the big bridge cameras, the cases for them that are designed to have the camera, like memory cards and spare batteries, are fairly big. You know, I wouldn't think twice if I saw somebody carrying one of those bags, but you could easily fit a lot of masks and filters in there. Binocular carrying cases, as I was saying, that they're sort of similar to camera ones. You get ones that, you know, are just like on your shoulder like that, rectangular kind of leather, or, you know, canvasy type material things. Open it up, you'd normally have binoculars in there, but yeah, folded mask and filter would fit in there. Again, I wouldn't really think twice about somebody with a little case like that on their shoulders. But I think there's a lot of options. As said, this is basically for... I've got a compact pair of binoculars here. It's a bit dusty, but if I get that off, Fuji binoculars. Oh wait, no, this is old Fuji camera, sorry. But there you go. This sort of thing. Remember these film cameras? Yeah. Yeah, you could easily, I think, have one of the bigger cases for bigger cameras and then just do the mask and filter in it that way. Because again, it's not too different than fitting them all into a Canteen thing. But yeah, in a few places I've got, you know, binoculars that are designed to go in cases like that, and I think they'd be good. But yeah, the whole point is, if you want to carry a respirator and a filter, find a respirator that can fit small enough. GP5 is a great example. Just because if you're to buy an FP5 filter that's new and sealed and would work, and a GP5, you can get the filter for probably about 10 quid and the mask for about 10 quid. I mean, if you wanted to. I don't think the GP5 satchel itself looks very suspicious because it's just like a boring, you know, cheap canvas bag. You can easily fit obviously the mask and filter in this because that's what it's designed for. But yeah, you have got a lot of options when it comes to concealing a mask and filter. As I said, there could be a lot of reasons you want to do that. One could be you just want to everyday carry a respirator and keep it somewhere where it's just, you know, nice and small so it's not a massive weight to carry. You could live in a country where police are prone to shooting tear gas at people and things like that, and then you want a filter mask for that reason. You know, there could be a lot of reasons why you want to carry one. As I said, they're really personal protective things. There's no offensive capability of a respirator, so it's not like, you know, you can really be using it for nefarious deeds like attacking people with a respirator or anything like that. Same as wearing body armour. I mean, I imagine you could be a criminal that's wearing one so the police can't tear gas you or, you know, shoot you if you had the Kevlar on, but again, for most people that's not going to be the case, is it? And we shouldn't make rules up saying you can't have personal protective things because a criminal would be using them. Anyway, as I said, hopefully that's given you a lot of ideas, but I reckon any coat that's got a, you know, nice big internal pocket, you could get the filter and mask fairly flat in internal pockets. Unfortunately, a lot of my coats that aren't, you know, obvious military ones that look a bit suspicious wearing those, you know, can do that. But, you know, big raincoats, big casual coats. If you've got cargo trousers on, yeah, you could get one mask in there, maybe the filter somewhere else, so you've not got like bulky pockets on each side. But yeah, you've got a lot of options. You know, you'd have to think what's best for you, but I do think, you know, if you plan it enough and you get a compact mask like a half face mask or a GP5, you can fit it in, you know, spare filters somewhere, and you know, you could use it in an emergency. It could save your life or whatever, or just prevent you being tear gassed or pepper sprayed, whatever else. Yeah, so hopefully that will answer your questions for people who are saying, how can I conceal carry a mask so I don't want to actually carry it around in its proper satchel? Yeah, there are quite a few ways you can do it. As I said, for me, I think one of these bags would be quite good, especially if you get one that's not in camo. Have that expanded to the maximum size it will go, and then just pop the mask in and the filter. I wonder if I could do the filter on top. Let's try that. So let's put the mask in that way round. Fold the mask down. Now, so you can see the mask's down like that. Pop the filter on top. Now, Velcro that up. And put the clasp in. Again, that's not the best way of storing a mask or folded down like that, but you can do it. And a GP5 is a cheap mask, so I don't think anybody's going to really complain if you manage to break your GP5 by doing this. But there we go, just trying to get that strap nice and tight. There we go, you've got your mask and filter in there. Launch the filter out when I open it. There you go, because the GP5's expanded. But yeah, you can obviously fit masks and filters in small spaces if you get the right equipment to do it. So hopefully this video has just given you some ideas on how you could potentially conceal carry a respirator if that's something you want to do.